What's going on, everyone? So, LeBron James and Anthony Davis were absolutely remarkable for Team USA. Obviously, LeBron James won the MVP. Anthony Davis was just, I don't know how you watch that guy and don't go, man, he's the best defensive player in the world. Like, what's crazy is Anthony Davis is probably never going to win a Defensive Player of the Year. And that is absolutely criminal, in my opinion. All right, because, Victor Wembanyama. And look, Victor was incredible last year defensively. I mean, I thought if you were going to give it to anybody not named Anthony Davis, it should have been Victor Wembanyama, whether he was a rookie or not. I mean, defensively, the dude was unbelievable. But he's probably going to start winning a couple coming up, which means Anthony Davis, as far as the defensive side of things go, is going to just be, dust in the wind, essentially. But these two were absolutely spectacular. You can make a genuine argument that these two both start to finish were the two best players on Team USA. Right? Again, Steph was remarkable the last two games. You look at Joel Embiid had his moments. Like everyone had their moments for Team USA, and that was what was really special about this team. Like even guys like Derek White and Drew Holiday and Devin Booker and all these guys, they all had their moments. They all had their opportunity. Joel Embiid, he was like unplayably bad at times. And it was just like, what are we doing here? Get this guy off the basketball court. And then, he had a huge game against Serbia. And, you saw just everyone play a role. But even with everybody playing a role, I mean, these two guys were absolutely special. I mean, LeBron James and Anthony Davis still are two top 10 players in this league, and I'm really excited for this upcoming season. Now, obviously, I would love and prefer a trade or two to kind of upgrade the roster, but I do think even as currently constructed, you add in a new head coach, you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. I do think that the Lakers have a real chance. I do think they have a real shot. It's not something that I would bet on, but I don't think anyone would be shocked or surprised that, oh my gosh, they pulled it out and they got the ring. But with Team USA and the experience and playing the high level basketball that they played, and playing the particular roles and being in the high pressure situations. And I mean, both these guys were on the court in the fourth quarter of the biggest game in the world. And both guys delivered. Both guys were excellent, right? I mean, Anthony Davis was the main center in that final game, that gold medal game, right? And you just add in the experience and just the talent in which they both played with and all the things. And there's a running joke. They're going from, Steph and Booker and Katie to, D'Lo and Reeves and, and I get the joke, but in all seriousness, right? Like it's just everybody is, right? Everywhere outside of the Phoenix Suns, who they're going to Beal and Booker. But, LeBron James and Anthony Davis are going back to each other. But something that you've seen throughout the history of just Olympic basketball and the translation to the NBA is players kind of taking that next step or having better seasons and more efficiency, right? I mean, going back to even Carmelo after the 08 Olympics, right? And how good he was. He had arguably, if not his best season ever in the NBA. Anthony Edwards took real strides after playing for FIBA, right? What does he do? And I know it's kind of crazy to think, can LeBron James and Anthony Davis take another step? Can they take another leap? But in all seriousness, I don't think it's something that is impossible, right? I mean, these two are insanely talented, and these two play so well together. I mean, seriously, they're peanut butter and jelly, right? They are out there just the dynamic duo. But in particular, more so Anthony Davis, right? LeBron James is LeBron James. And, he's always going to do LeBron James things. And, it's how much more efficient and better can LeBron be, right? Not saying that he can't, can he continue to shoot the three ball well, right? Can he, take care of the basketball more, right? Does he lock in a little better defensively, right? Does he, with again, Team USA, his son, obviously, you're going to have that moment at some point. I think it'll probably happen the first game of the season, but you got to imagine that at some point you're going to have that father-son moment, right? Does LeBron have a little more incentive, right? Do these two guys, period, just have a little more incentive, right? You're coming off of a gold. You'd like to go and win an NBA championship. I think LeBron has a ton of incentive, right? Like, what's better than playing alongside your son? Playing alongside your son in the finals and hoisting the Larry O'Brien trophy alongside your son. That's what's better than just doing that. But he also needs Anthony Davis to pick it up. And Anthony Davis, the last year and a half, he's been spectacular, right? Like, you had the bubble and, coming out of that and winning the NBA championship and just that season period. I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's a bubble. Like, they were still the best team in the NBA that year. And Anthony Davis was arguably the best player in the league that year, right? I mean, there was genuine talks and conversations of like, is Anthony Davis the best player in the league? And then they win the championship, and then it was like there was this expectation that Anthony Davis was going to kind of take over, and like that was it. And then LeBron was going to kind of take a bit of a step back, and there was all the talks about LeBron playing more off ball and Anthony Davis stepping up and picking it up. And it was just like Anthony Davis like just became a different player, and it was just like he wasn't the same guy. And it was like, what is going on here? But you had the injuries and you had all the stuff, and then you get to like the last year and a half. And it's just, we've seen a very different Anthony Davis. He's been healthier. He's been more energized. He's looked closer to that 2020 Anthony Davis, which, many people believe was the best version of Anthony Davis on both sides of the basketball. And, like, we need that, right? And if Anthony Davis can continue to do so and can kind of get back to being that, the best version of himself possible, then I like the Lakers' chances even more, right? If Anthony Davis can have an MVP level season, I really like the Lakers' chances, right? And some might think like, like how much, but again, a lot of guys like the experience, the pressure, the noise, like everything that goes into just that type of stakes. I mean, you always hear about midseason form, right? And players kind of ramping up throughout the season, and guys are better midseason or later in the season than they are early in the season. I mean, even guys like Shaq, right? Or, players using the season to kind of get in shape and kind of get their bodies right and get everything right. Well, these two guys, LeBron James and Anthony Davis, both were in mid-season form before the season began. They both just played in, literal playoff Game 7-like atmospheres night in and night out, right? And now they're going back into the league and are immediately going to jump into, well, not immediately, they'll probably take a couple weeks off, but are going to start jumping into training camp and, and then preseason and the regular season, all that stuff. And, you might get a very different LeBron James and Anthony Davis. You might get that immediate, just out the gate type run from both of these players to the level that you don't usually get until, mid-season or whatever, right? Like, where these two guys right out the gate could be great. And, like, even you look at last season and the Lakers off to a good run. Yeah, there were some issues. There were some consistency concerns, things like that. And then, but you win the in-season tournament. Lakers win 47 games, and they had this stretch where they lost 10 of 13 games. And if they won half of those 10 that they lost, just half, they're the 4th seed. So do you get a LeBron James and Anthony Davis who are more energized and focused and have the common goal at hand. I'm not saying that they don't want a championship last year, the year before that, or anything like that, but are they kind of more laser focused because of the experience that they just had and the high intensity that they just had? And now they're jumping right into a regular season where it's like, okay, like we look at the situation we just came out of, and now we're jumping into this. Let's go. Right? And maybe you get these two playing at a that peak level that usually you want to get to right before you get into the playoffs and really start to hit your stride. Now, obviously, LeBron James, his age, and Anthony Davis, I'm sure that they're going to take nights off, and I'm sure that they'll pace themselves here and there. But I do think you could get a very different version of both of these guys, and in particular Anthony Davis, right? Like, we need the best version of Anthony Davis possible. LeBron James is absolutely great. We go as far as Anthony Davis takes us. Said the same thing last year. Like, Anthony Davis is the key to everything because he's so incredibly talented on both sides of the basketball. Right? Like, this is a guy that just impacts so much of the game on both sides of the basketball. Right? So his offense and his efficiency in that regard, and then also being able to just cover so much ground on the defensive side and making us, a legit high-level defense. Obviously, guys got to pick it up and step up and handle their business, but it's going to be really interesting to see. It is really going to be interesting to see. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you think that these two really do and are spectacular right out the gate? Do you think we kind of see a different version of these two? Or do you think they're LeBron James and Anthony Davis. They're going to be LeBron James and Anthony Davis regardless. Again, however you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.